Hello everyone, I am Niharika John Mehra, your educator at Unacademy. Today we are going to learn about uses of passive voice. Before moving ahead, a little bit about me. I am a mass communication graduate and currently doing post graduation in MA English Literature. I am English trainer at Unacademy and also a freelance personality development trainer. For all my other courses and other lessons, you can follow me right here on this link, and you will be able to access all the courses I have made till now on Unacademy. You can also click on the follow button, which is just below the video, and there you are following me. Let's start with the first use, which is to emphasize the action rather than the actor. So, according to me, I categorize a sentence into three main parts. One, the person or group of people who are doing the action. And second, the action which is done and expressed by verb. And third, on which that action is done. So here we are saying that passive voice is extremely useful when I want to tell about the person, when I want to tell about the thing on which action is done. In such case, passive voice is the best choice. For example, after long debate, the proposal was endorsed by the Long Range Planning Committee. So here I want to focus upon that endorsement was done. Who did it? That is not very important. Okay, so the committee, they did it. Endorsement was done by them. It is there in the sentence. Okay, but my focus is that the proposal was endorsed. That is the main point I wanted to highlight in my sentence, that now the proposal is endorsed. That is why it is made, this particular sentence is made in passive voice. Next we see to be tactful by not naming the doer. So this is another interesting way to use passive voice. You need to be wise sometimes whether or not to disclose the name of the person or group of people who are doing the action. If I am willing not to tell the name of the person who is doing something, I will choose to use passive voice and make my sentence in the same. For example, the procedures were somehow misinterpreted. Now here I am telling something bad or sort of negative which has happened. The procedures, they were misinterpreted, they were misunderstood. So I don't want to blame this on someone. I don't want to tell by whom they were misinterpreted. But that has happened, which I need to accept or which I need to tell to someone without naming the doer. So in such case, passive voice is an excellent choice. Another example, the statue was broken. Now I again don't want to disclose who broke the statue, but I do need to tell people that okay, now the statue is broken. It's not as it was before. That is the reason I chose to make this sentence in passive voice, just telling what has happened and on what thing it has happened. Who did it? I don't want to mention the name. In such case, passive voice is very nice option to go ahead with. Next is to create an authoritative tone. Lot of times you might have noticed there is some kind of instruction, some kind of rule, some kind of warning is required to be given on general basis, like in hostels, schools, hospitals, PGs. There are certain places. So such kind of instructions or warnings, if they are expressed in passive voice, it is very good, because passive voice always carry more authority if we compare it to active voice. For example, Visitors are not allowed after 9 p.m. Now, who has told this? We don't have to think about that. What we need to focus is what is the instruction? Before 9 p.m. you need to be you need to visit someone. You do it before 9 p.m. After 9 p.m. it's not possible. So this message is conveyed in this form, and in this form we have used passive voice, that visitors are not allowed after 9 p.m. It carries an authority that no one should do that. Another example, students were restricted from keeping mobile phones. Again, I am telling something that carries an authority, or a person with authority can only tell this or warn about this thing. So when we make sentence in passive voice, it tells what to do, and it is related to what thing or which person. It does not have anything to do with who has told this particular thing. That is the reason that passive voice is very, very helpful when you want to state something that has restrictions or that has rules, regulations, or warning or instructions. Next, we see it is used to describe a condition in which actor is unknown or unimportant. So just now we saw that one condition is willingly I am not telling the name of the doer. Another condition is when the person who is doing that action is actually not important, or actually I don't know who did it. In such case, again, passive voice is a good choice to make sentences. For example, every year thousands of people are diagnosed as having cancer. Now, there are many people who are being diagnosed and they have cancer. Who is diagnosing them? So we don't have to do much about it, because there are a lot of labs and lot of doctors who are diagnosing this. I have nothing to do with them. Maybe I don't know the name of every doctor who diagnosed it. The main concern is that thousands of people are diagnosed. So my focus is that it's not hundreds, it's not lakhs, but thousands of people. That is what I want to convey in my sentence. And passive voice is a good choice to make sentence in such situations. Another example, environment has been polluted for years. So again, something which is very common, a general statement, and every other person is responsible for polluting the environment. It's not important to mention name of each and every person who has done it, but what is to be brought into focus is that now we need to be careful because environment has been polluted for years. In such cases, we use passive voice where we actually think that the one who has done this is not that important. The issue which has happened is important. And then at last we see that in businesses, politicians, and other official outlets, they often use passive voice to soften a negative sentence or to deflect blame. Now, these are some categories like in business and politics and some official outlets. They don't want to say something bad or something negative directly. There are ways when something bad happens, there are ways that you tell or disclose what has happened. So in such case, when we want to tell it in a softer manner, in a kind manner, that it should not hurt other people or it should not become a reason of panicking for other people, we tend to use passive voice. For example, refunds will not be issued. Who is not issuing? That is not important, but there is something which is not good for who the people who they were expecting refunds, it is not good news for them, it is a bad news, and they can just get aggressive listening this. So this is the reason such kind of thing is said in passive voice, so that even if there is any sort of effect on the people after listening this news, they will not blame someone particularly for it. Another example, mistakes were made. Now just imagine there was a great project going on, and there were two people who made blunder. They made major mistakes. Now, now the CEO needs to tell that mistakes were made, but he cannot tell the name of those people. Still, he needs to break the news, for it is something negative. It is not good for the project. So, in such case, where in business, politics, official outlets, something negative or something which has harmed someone, such kind of thing is to be expressed, and we don't want to blame somebody, or maybe I just want to save myself from getting blamed. The sentence format or the voice I will use is passive voice. So that was it for today's lesson. Please don't forget to share, rate, comment, and stay tuned for more such lessons.